All right, in this knife talk video, we're going to be talking about this knife. If you're watching this video, you probably have seen it. It's the Benchmade 940, and it's one of Benchmade's most classic knives. So this is designed by Osborne, and it really is one of their most liked, most recommended, and most sold knives. But this knife talk video is coming after I got this knife back from Benchmade. I sent it in for some warranty work. This knife, I got it secondhand. I got it for a really good deal, and I didn't think it was a problem at first, but it was pretty off-center towards the clip side, and I couldn't fix it. I tried to myself, but some of the screws had come to me, not totally stripped, but hard to work on, and I didn't want to ruin them totally. So I ended up sending it in. I'm going to be doing basically a warranty review on Benchmade, Kershaw, and Spyderco, because interestingly enough, I had to send, I decided to send my Spyderco Chalkway because it had really bad lock stick, and my Kershaw Thistle because it had a crack in the blade. So, you know, not similar prices on all three knives, but kind of to see how the warranties would work on all three of those companies. Benchmade, Spyderco, and Kershaw. So keep an eye out for that. Subscribe to my channel if you'd like to get a notification when I post that. This was the first one to come back. It was actually also the first one I sent. So I'll talk about that in the other video. But as you can see, they fixed the centering completely. It's actually maybe slightly towards the other side now, which I would prefer on this knife, because when you push the thumb stud, it is going to be pushing the blade towards the clip side. So, you know, fix the centering. They put all new screws. I believe they put new springs in, and I also requested they put this deep carry clip rather than the clip that this knife comes with, and they did that. So it's kind of like a new knife. They also sharpened it. I don't remember if I actually asked them to or not, but I think they tend to do that. It came back really nice. It came back sharp. I stropped it just slightly, and it's shaving sharp and everything. So I'm just making this video after getting it back. But it's a really classic knife. So it has the axis lock. The axis lock is a bar that goes across it holds the knife closed because there's springs, what they call the omega springs, pushing the bar this way at all times. So it's holding the knife blade closed, and then when you open it, it pushes that bar back. The bar rides along the tang of the knife until you open it the whole way, and then it's pushed by those springs up onto the tang of the knife, a flat part there that holds it open. And it locks up with no blade play at all in any direction, forward and back, side to side. Perfect lockup. Now the axis lock is a really nice lock. It was patented by Benchmade for a while, but it apparently is no longer patented, so other people were using it, like the Mastrop TJ Schwartz Perpetua, and lots of Chinese companies, although some of those are clones, which are, you know, a different story. But it's a really easy lock to use. It's easy to open. It's really easy to close. This, as you can see, is really smooth, but you can even open it and swing it out, swing it closed. You can use it one-handed, but I think from reading online, it does seem that when people have omega springs break, sometimes it's because they use one hand. They unlock the axis lock on one side rather than both, and there's really a few times where you do need to do that. So I do suggest using both hands so that it's not, you know, kind of counter levering or cantilevering or whatever on that bar. But it's a really easy lock to use. This is a thumb stud opening knife, as you can see. This thumb stud is really close to the handle there. It's not the blade stop, because the axis lock is the blade stop, but it's pretty close to being right against the handle. So when you open this knife, you have to kind of push up rather than out. Well, you can push out if you put your thumb down onto the thumb stud. Let's see if it'll, yeah. If you push your thumb down onto the thumb stud and then push out, it works. But I've found that it's easier to push up. So you see the motion of my thumb is up and then around. So You know, it is pretty close to the handle, but it's not really ever a problem for me. I'm able to open this knife really easily. If my hands are covered in blood, like I'm doing food prep or something, and you could use this knife for hunting too, then you can always, you know, get a purchase on the lock and flip it open like that. Um, let's see what else about this knife. So you can see that this blade shape is, Benchmade calls it a reverse Tonto, because of this here being somewhat like a Tonto. It's really kind of a modified clip point, this being the clipped area, this being kind of like another clipped area. If you were to take this and connect it, it would look like a clip point. And they do have a version, I think it's called the 943, that is a clip point. So it's just a modified clip point, really. Kind of interesting swedging, comes to thicker swedge out to the front, but it's a useful blade shape. Lots of straight edge, that's good for cutting cardboard and stuff like that. And then a good amount of belly here that's good for if you're using it for food prep or if you were hunting or something like that. Definitely a useful blade shape, a good EDC blade shape, something that's going to work for pretty much any task you're going to need it for. It is not a tall blade, it's a slender blade, and that goes along with the handle to make it a really slender knife and an easy to carry knife. So talking about the handle is nice. It's green anodized aluminum with a purple anodized backspacer. I really like the look of it, and I've had a couple 940s actually, and before I'd sell them because my finger would kind of hang off the edge. That doesn't really bother me now. I don't know if my hand is less big, that wouldn't make that much sense, but I think also you really hold a knife like this most of the time when you're using it, so it doesn't bother me in that position. But it's a nice simple handle, and again, as I say in a lot of my videos on knives that I like, a simple handle makes for better ergonomics. That's why most traditional old school fixed blades don't have all kinds of crazy things. Even most of them don't have a guard. But most of them are really simple, and that's because the simpler a handle, the easier it is to hold on to and not be uncomfortable, and the more ways you can hold on to it. Again, it is simple, it feels good in the hand, there's a little bit of kind of sculpting here, as you can see, and this, because it is rounded, even if my pinky does go off the edge, it doesn't bother me really. The guard is a nice touch. It keeps your hands from sliding forward, so I do like that. And there's a little bit of jimping. That jimping doesn't do too much, but it's there. So I like the handle a lot. Now this clip is a little bit higher sitting than the standard clip. The standard clip is probably a little bit more ergonomic in your hand, but I don't think it's a problem with this clip. And this is a deeper carry clip. Like I said, I requested that they put this on. And, I think with a knife like this that's already slender and easy to carry, throwing on a deep carry clip is just going to amplify that and, make it really, really easy to carry. Now, one thing, when I got this back from Benchmade, it wasn't as smooth as it is now. All I did was put a little bit of oil on the pivot, and it's really smooth. I think that it's even, it's drop close smooth, and that's with no blade plate. Even when it's unlocked, there's no side-to-side blade plate at all. So it's very well made, especially now that I got it back to Benchmade and they, fixed it up. Just a really nice knife, and it deserves the reputation that it has. There's a bunch of different versions of this knife. Like I said, there's the 943, which has a black anodized handle and kind of a more traditional clip point. There's a bunch of exclusives. There's one with M390, I think. Knifeworks, maybe? I'm not sure. But Smoky Mountain Knifeworks also had an exclusive with a different handle and different steel, 20 CV maybe. And then they have one that's not an exclusive, the 940-1, which has solid carbon fiber handles and S90V steel. So that's an upgraded steel and handle. It'd be lighter without really losing too much strength, especially on a knife like this. That doesn't matter too much. And this is S30V. I like S30V. I'm not going to talk too much about like steel reputation and stuff, but some people seem to more and more recently kind of talk about S30V negatively, like they want to see better steels on these knives. And I understand on this knife, because this knife new from a dealer is like $175, and I think that for a $175 knife, it is reasonable to want something better than S30V. I don't buy Benchmades from dealers. I think that they're overpriced from dealers. I understand that they're made in the United States and the warranty is really great and that price covers that. I still think that the MAP pricing has made them more expensive than they need to be. So I only will buy a Benchmade secondhand or trade into them. And part of the reason for that is because they do have a great warranty. If I get one and it has an issue that's, you know, Benchmade's fault or something that the warranty covers, they'll fix it like they did on this one. Like I say, I think that for the price that I got this knife for, which was I think $115, S30V is more than good enough. And you know, again, for $175, which is more what most Benchmades are from a dealer, yeah, maybe you want something better than S30V. But S30V is still a good steel. It's easy to sharpen for me. It's really predictable. It holds an edge well and everything. So really no issues with that. And just a really overall good knife. I had been carrying my Mass Drop Keen today, but after having this out and making this video, I think I'm going to carry this for the rest of the day. Really nice knife and one that I'm happy to have. I didn't have a Benchmade for a long time and I got this one, so I'm happy to have it. I had said in a comment or something that I was going to be doing a new type of video for the knife talk video on this knife where I showed use. I filmed a whole bunch of use on this knife, cutting cardboard, cutting food, doing food prep, cutting wood, even something outdoors. I forget what I was doing, but I'm just having trouble editing it together in a cohesive way. So I'm not going to do that. This video is going to be as it is, as I've recorded it. And, you know, I'll leave the really well edited and comprehensive usage videos to some other YouTube knife reviewers. But still, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If so, please like it. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them. If you haven't yet, if you've watched this video so far, I appreciate you watching, and go ahead and subscribe to my channel so you get notifications for other videos that I post, and don't forget to go out and do good.